Park Doyen pushed his cleaning cart through the empty corridors of the Confluence station. His old shoes made soft squeaking sounds on the shiny floor. At 47 years old, he did not care what people thought about his job. He was just a janitor who worked at night. That was enough for him. The diplomatic station floated in space like a giant wheel made of steel and glass. Many different alien species came here to talk about peace and solve their problems. The most protected part of the station belonged to the Churati people. They were very old and very powerful. Everyone feared them and respected them. You understand the rules? A tall Churati guard stood in front of Doyen. The guard had 3 eyes. The third, I meant he could read minds. No talking. No touching. Do not try to speak with the royal family. I understand, Doyen said in a calm voice. I am only here clean. The guard stared at him with all 3 eyes. After a moment, the guard stepped aside. Go ahead, but we are watching you. Doyen had heard stories about the Churati children. Everyone on the station knew about them. 3 young princes and princesses lived in the diplomatic wing. Nobody ever saw them except their mother, the queen, and her guards. People said something bad had happened on their home planet. Someone had tried to kill them. Now the children were so scared that they would not even talk to their own people. Doyen entered a big common room and started his work. The room was very clean already. The children were kept away from even small bits of dirt. Still, cleaning was his job. He took out his supplies and began washing the windows. He did not see the 3 pairs of eyes watching him from the shadows. Behind a large stone pillar, 3 small figures watched the human carefully. Prince Velkan was 12 years old and the oldest. His silver skin had special marks that showed he was royal. His 3 eyes followed every move Doyen made. Next to him stood Princess Hannah, who was 9 years old. Her small body was tense and worried. Little Prince Teo was only 6. He held his sister's hand tight. The children had learned not to trust anyone. Their special mind-reading power should have helped them make friends. Instead, it became a curse. Every guard thought about his job and getting promoted. Every teacher thought about politics and gaining favor. Every diplomat who smiled at them was hiding secrets and lies. But this human was different. Doyen hummed a song while he worked. It was an old song from Earth that meant nothing to anyone here. His mind was open to the children's telepathy. What they found in his thoughts shocked him. He was thinking about coffee. He wondered if he had bought enough. He thought about a dirty spot on the window that needed more work. He remembered his daughter from years ago. She was laughing while he lifted her onto his shoulders. The memory was not sad. It was warm and gentle. There was no ambition in his mind. No hidden plans. No secret wishes for power. Just peace. He does not want anything from us, Hannah whispered to her brothers. Everyone wants something, Velkan said. It was what their teachers had told them. Not him. Little Teo said quietly, he does not even know we are special. Doyen finished cleaning the windows. He moved the floors with his mop, making smooth patterns. He talked to himself. It was something he did when he worked alone at night. The left corner is always the worst, he said to nobody. People never look at corners. But corners are important. Everything is important if you want to do the job right. The children moved closer. They were fascinated by this strange human who treated an empty room with such care. Doyen worked across the floor. Suddenly, Prince Teo's data slate slipped from his small hands. It was a special gift from his mother. It had precious family videos on it. The slate fell and slid across the floor toward a trash chute. No! Teo gasped. Doyen's hand shot out fast. He caught the device just before it fell into the trash. He stood up and looked at the slate with a small frown. Well now, someone dropped something important. He looked around the empty room. Hello? Is anyone here? The 3 children froze behind their pillar. They were not sure what to do. Doyen waited for a moment. Then he shrugged. He carefully wiped the slate clean with his cloth. He checked to make sure it was not broken. Then he put it gently on a table where it could be easily seen. There you go, he said to the empty air. Safe and sound. Then he just went back to his work. He did not ask for anything. He did not expect a reward. Teo stared at his slate. Then he looked at the human. Then he looked at his brother and sister. Through their mind connection, they all shared the same thought. The human had saved something precious and asked for nothing in return. Doyen finished his work and left the wing. He did not know that 3 pairs of eyes followed him all the way to the door. Tomorrow, Hannah said softly, we watch him again tomorrow. For the first time in many months, her voice had something other than fear in it. She sounded curious. Night after night, Doyen came back to the Churati wing. Night after night, the children watched him work. They learned everything about his routine. He always started with the windows because he said natural light showed dirt the best. He talked to difficult stains like they were his old enemies. He hummed different songs based on his mood. Happy songs on good days. Slow, sad songs when he thought about his daughter. Through their telepathy, the children saw his memories. They saw a little girl with dark hair and 2 ponytails. She was learning to ride a bicycle. They saw Doyen pick her up each time she fell. He was never angry. He always encouraged her. They saw her grow older. Then the memory broke into pieces. It was too painful for Doyen to look at directly. She was gone. The children understood that. But somehow, losing her had not made Doyen mean or cold. How does he do it? Velkin wondered one night as they watched from their hiding spot. How does he remember pain and still smile? On the 5th night, the children decided to test him. Princess Hannah used her telekinesis. Most Churati children could move small things with their minds. She moved a potted plant from its shelf to the middle of the floor. Doyen arrived and saw the plant in the wrong place. He laughed. Well, you're in the wrong spot, are you not? Do not worry. I will get you home. He carefully put it back on the shelf. He checked the soil to see if the plant needed water. He turned it so it would get better light. The next night, Velkin moved 3 cushions into a pyramid shape. Interesting, Doyen said when he found them. Someone is being creative. He put them back on the couch neatly. He made each one fluffy. But let us keep things where they belong, okay? On the 3rd night of testing, little Teo scattered a whole box of decorative crystals across the floor. It was a big mess that would take a long time to clean. The children waited nervously. They wondered if this would finally make the human angry. Doyen walked in and looked at the scene. He took a long breath. Then he smiled. All right, you win, he said to the empty room. This is quite the puzzle. He got down on his knees and started picking up crystals. But he did not just clean them up. He started making patterns with them. He sorted them by color and size. You know, these are pretty. They look like stars. The blue ones can be the constellation Orion, or what do Churati call it? Silverhand, I think. He spent the next hour creating art with the mess. He arranged the crystals into beautiful designs before putting them back in their box. There, he said, looking satisfied. Everything has its place, but it is nice to mix things up sometimes. From their hiding spot, Teo felt something strange in his chest. The human was not angry. He had turned their test into something fun and beautiful. He made it beautiful, the little prince whispered. That night, after Doyen left, Hannah made a decision. She stepped out from behind the pillar. She went to the table where Doyen always put his supplies when he took breaks. She left a small piece of paper with a simple drawing. It was a stick figure with a smile. The next night, Doyen found it. He studied the childish drawing carefully. His eyes became soft and kind. So, there is someone here, he said gently. Hello, friend. Thank you for the picture. It is wonderful. He took a piece of paper from his supply list. He drew his own simple picture of a smiling sun. He left it on the table. When the children found it the next morning, they stared at it for a long time. He knows, Velkin said, and he is not afraid, Hannah added. He is playing with us, Teo realized. His third eye opened wide with wonder. The drawings became their language. Each night, they left a picture. Each night, Doyen responded. Stick figures became detailed scenes. Single images became stories told across many pages. Through it all, Doyen never demanded to see them. He never told the guard about them. He just accepted this silent friendship and honored it by joining in. One night, after 2 weeks, Doyen was cleaning near one of the large pillars. He said in a casual voice, You know, my daughter used to hide behind pillars too. She thought if she could not see me, I could not see her. But I always knew she was there. I could hear her little laughs. Behind the pillar, Teo put his hand over his mouth. He almost made a sound. Doyen smiled at the polish he was putting on the floor. She would play this game where she moved things around the house while I was at work. She was not trying to be bad. She just liked organizing things her own way. She said everything had feelings and wanted to be in different places sometimes. Hannah leaned around the pillar just enough to see the human's face. He was not looking at them. He was giving them privacy. I told her that was okay, Doyen continued. His voice was warm with the memory. As long as she was thoughtful about it. Things do not mind being moved if it is done with care. He stopped working for a moment. Then he added softly, I miss her very much. But you know what? Talking to you these past few weeks, even if you do not talk back, it has helped me. So thank you, whoever you are. That night, after Doyen left, the three children sat together. They thought about what they had felt through his words. He loves someone who is gone, Velkin said, but the love does not hurt him. It makes him kind. He sees us, Hannah whispered, really sees us, not as princes or princesses, as children. Teo looked up at his older brother and sister with wide, hopeful eyes. Can we show ourselves tomorrow? Velkin was scared. Trust was terrifying. But Doyen had given them something precious. He had given them time, patience, and acceptance without asking for anything back. Tomorrow, the oldest prince agreed, we will step out from the shadows. The next night, when Park Doyen entered the Chirati wing, he found three young aliens standing in the center of the room. They looked nervous, but they were there, visible and waiting. He stopped. His cleaning cart made a soft squeaking sound as it halted. For a moment, the four of them just looked at each other. Then Doyen smiled. It was a real warm smile. Hello. It is nice to finally meet you properly. Little Teo stepped forward first. The kindness he had sensed for weeks made him brave. You saved my data slate. I did, Doyen said. Is it working okay? Yes. The young prince hesitated. Then he added shyly, Thank you. You are very welcome. Princess Hannah studied him with her three eyes. You knew we were here the whole time. I suspected it, Doyen admitted. The moved objects, the drawings. Plus, I raised a daughter. I know the signs of children being children. We were testing you, Velkin said. His tone was formal, but no longer guarded. I know, Doyen replied simply. Did I pass? The three siblings looked at each other through their telepathic connection. Then, together, they nodded. From that night forward, everything changed. The children began helping Doyen with his cleaning. Of course, their help made everything take twice as long. Teo insisted on carrying the spray bottles, even though they were almost as big as he was. Hannah folded cleaning cloths into elaborate origami shapes. Velkin tried to organize the supply cart with careful precision. Doyen accepted their help with patience and good humor. He turned chores into games. See this floor, he said one evening, pointing at the polished surface. Perfect for sliding. He put special sock covers on his feet and glided across the floor. The children watched, fascinated. Want to try? Doyen asked. Within minutes, all three royal children were sock skating across the diplomatic floor. Their laughter echoed through chambers that had known only silence for months. Velkin discovered he could spin in circles. Hannah practiced elegant glides. Little Teo just ran and slid, over and over, with pure joy radiating from him. Doyen watched with a big grin. He offered tips on technique. He caught Teo when the little prince's momentum carried him too far. This is fun, Velkin said, breathing hard from exercise. It was a concept foreign to his strictly controlled life. It is supposed to be, Doyen replied. Work does not have to be boring. Another night, Doyen showed them how to make sculptures with cleaning foam. He demonstrated by creating a small mountain on a mirror. He fashioned peaks and valleys. Your turn, he encouraged. The children's telekinetic abilities combined with their enthusiasm produced elaborate foam creations. They made castles, creatures, and abstract shapes that defied description. Doyen praised each one. He took them seriously even when they dissolved into giggles at their own absurd designs. "On my world," Hannah said, carefully shaping foam into a flower, "art is only for the skilled, the trained." "That is a shame," Doyen replied. He created his own lopsided flower next to hers. "Art is for anyone who wants to create. It does not matter if it is good. What matters is that it makes you happy." As the weeks passed, Doyen told them stories about his daughter, Minji. He shared memories without sadness, teaching her to tie her shoes, reading bedtime stories, her obsession with collecting interesting rocks. One evening, Hannah asked the question they had all been wondering. "Why do you tell happy stories about her? Does it not hurt?" Doyen paused in his polishing. He thought about it. "It did at first, but I realized something. The love I have for her does not disappear just because she is not here anymore. So I keep it alive by remembering the joy, not just the loss." He looked at the three children. "Sadness is real and it matters, but it does not have to be the whole story. The love is bigger than the sadness." Teo moved closer and gently touched Doyen's hand. Through the telepathic connection, the little prince felt the truth of those words. Grief and love living together, neither one making the other smaller. "You are brave," Teo said quietly. Doyen ruffled the young prince's head. It was a gesture of affection so casual and genuine that Teo's three eyes widened in surprise. "You are brave, too. All of you are." The moment that changed everything came on an ordinary night during the 4th week. Doyen was demonstrating the proper technique for mopping. "It is all in the wrist motion, see?" He stepped backward without looking. His foot caught the edge of his cleaning bucket. He went sprawling, landing in a spectacular heap among scattered supplies. Spray bottles rolled in all directions. A mop flopped across his chest. Soap suds crowned his head. He lay there for a moment, taking in the situation. Then, from his undignified position on the floor, he said with perfect seriousness, "Well, I have finally achieved unity with my cleaning supplies. We are now one. You may call me Supreme Janitor, Master Mops." The children stared, uncertain. Adults did not make mistakes. Adults especially did not make fun of their own mistakes. Then Doyen started laughing. He was not embarrassed. He was not angry. He was just genuinely amused at himself. The sound was rich and unguarded, echoing through the chamber. Something in that laughter unlocked something in little Teo. A strange feeling bubbled up in his chest. Something he had never experienced before. He giggled. The sound was small, almost hesitant. But once it started, it would not stop. The giggle became a full laugh, bright and clear. Hannah stared at her youngest brother. Then she felt the same inexplicable joy rising in her. She joined him, her laughter mixing with his. Even Velkan, serious and controlled, felt his carefully maintained composure crack. A smile spread across his face, then a chuckle, then full, genuine laughter. The three Churati children laughed together for the first time in their lives. The sound was so pure and unexpected that it carried through the sealed wing. In her private chambers, Queen Matriarch Sharvara was reviewing diplomatic documents when she heard it. She froze. Her document fell forgotten to the desk. She knew every sound her children made, every frightened whisper, every cautious word. But this was new. Laughter. Her children were laughing. Despite what Queen Sharvara had said, Park Doyen was called in for questioning the next morning. Ambassador Krythe had worked all night. He had filed reports and raised concerns about humanity's unpredictable nature. The station security division needed answers. Doyen found himself in a cold interrogation room, facing a panel of representatives from different species. Mr. Park, the lead investigator, began. He was a methodical Talvothi named Investigator Wren. "You are aware that unauthorized contact with diplomatic families, especially royal children, is a severe violation of station protocols?" "I am now," Doyen replied calmly. "Yet you deliberately pursued contact with the Churati princes and princess?" "No, sir. I cleaned the floors. They chose to reveal themselves to me." Wren looked at his datapad. Security recordings showed no evidence of coercion or manipulation. However, Ambassador Krythe contends that humans are inherently unpredictable and potentially dangerous to diplomatic relations. How do you respond? Doyen thought about this. I do not think unpredictable is the same as dangerous. Yes, humans could be spontaneous, but those children needed someone who was not calculating every interaction. They are telepaths. They can sense hidden agendas. I did not have any agenda, so they felt safe. What did you hope to gain from befriending royal children? Another investigator asked. Suspicion was clear in her mechanical translator. Nothing, Doyen answered honestly. They reminded me of my daughter. I just wanted them to smile. The investigators exchanged glances. Such a response did not fit their models of behavior. Mr. Park, Wren said carefully, you understand this explanation is difficult to process. In most species, interaction with high-status individuals is always motivated by social or political advancement. That is sad, Doyen replied. Maybe that is why those kids were so lonely. The questioning continued for hours. They reviewed every interaction, analyzed the psychological profile, and even consulted experts on human behavior. Everything confirmed the same conclusion. Park Doyen was exactly what he appeared to be. A simple janitor who treated children with kindness because it was the right thing to do. Finally, Ambassador Krythe himself entered the room. This is insufficient. We cannot allow someone so ordinary to maintain contact with royalty. It sets a dangerous precedent. What is dangerous about kindness? Doyen asked. You do not understand complexities of diplomatic relations. You are right, Doyen agreed. I do not understand politics. But I understand kids, and those three need someone who treats them like people, not political assets. Krythe leaned forward. And what qualifies a human janitor to make such determinations? Doyen met his gaze steadily. Nothing. I am not qualified for anything except cleaning floors. But maybe that is exactly why they trusted me. I had nothing to gain, nothing to lose, and nothing to prove. I could just be honest. That is not how civilized society functions. Then maybe, Doyen interrupted gently, civilized society is failing those kids. The room fell silent. Finally, Investigator Wren spoke. Mr. Park, you will remain confined to quarters while we deliberate. Do not attempt to contact the Churati family. But Queen Matriarch Sharvara had other plans. That evening, she entered the interrogation facility with full royal authority. Her guards surrounded her. I demand to speak with Park Doyen. Now! They brought him to a private chamber. Sharvara dismissed everyone, even her own guards. Only the two of them remained. Your Majesty, Doyen began, I am sorry if I caused problems. Be silent, Sharvara commanded, though not unkindly. I am going to do something that is, by my people's laws, considered an assault. I am going to scan your memories without permission. You may refuse, but I must know the truth of your intentions. Doyen considered this. Will it hurt? No, but you will have no secrets from me. Then okay, Doyen said simply. I have nothing to hide. Sharvara's three eyes began to glow with telepathic energy. She reached into his mind, deeper than her children could. She accessed not just surface thoughts, but core memories and fundamental nature. She saw Minji. She saw Doyen teaching his daughter to ride a bike, reading her bedtime stories, braiding her hair for school. She saw the car accident that took her life. She saw Doyen's grief, so profound it nearly destroyed him. She saw him slowly rebuilding, choosing a simple life because complex ambitions felt meaningless without her. She saw his nights on the station, the quiet satisfaction of honest work. She saw him notice the Churati children and think, without calculation or planning, they are lonely like I am lonely. Maybe we can be less lonely together. She saw him view her children not as alien royalty, but as kids who reminded him of Minji at different ages. Teo's innocence, Hannah's curiosity, Velkan's serious nature, mixed with hidden playfulness. There was no deception, no hidden agenda, just a man who had lost everything and found meaning in small kindnesses. Sharvara withdrew from his mind, visibly shaken. She had scanned countless beings in her long life, but she had never encountered such fundamental simplicity of purpose. You truly want nothing, she said, amazed. I want them to be happy, Doyen corrected gently. That is not nothing. The Queen sat down. It was a gesture of equality, startling from one of her status. My children have been prisoners of their own abilities. Every mind they touch contains layers of ambition, fear, and calculation. They learn to trust no one, because no one could be trusted. Then you arrived, thinking about coffee and clean floors. I am a simple person, Your Majesty. You are an extraordinary person who happens to do ordinary work, Shervar countered. And you have given my children something I, with all my power, could not, the knowledge that genuine kindness exists. She stood, her decision made. You will be reinstated. More than that, I am creating a new position, cultural liaison. You will continue your cleaning duties, but you will also be authorized to interact with my children. Anyone who objects will answer to me. Your Majesty, Doyen protested, I do not need a fancy title. It is not for you, she interrupted. It is for them, and perhaps for other diplomatic families whose children are also imprisoned by protocol and protection. The next day, Ambassador Cry found himself facing not just Queen Shavara, but a coalition of other diplomatic families. Representatives from 5 different species stood together, united by a common concern. Our children face similar isolation, one ambassador explained. We have watched the Churati children transform in weeks. Our own children need the same opportunity. The vote was unanimous. Part Doyen was not only reinstated, but given official diplomatic status. When Doyen returned to the Churati wing that night, 3 children rushed to greet him. They said you were in trouble. Velkin said, worry evident. Because of us, Hannah added, feeling guilty. Little Teo just hugged Doyen's leg tightly. Doyen knelt to their level. I was never in trouble for knowing you. Being your friend is the best thing that has happened to me in a long time. Part Doyen's first official act as cultural liaison was to ignore his new title completely. He showed up for his night shift with his cleaning cart as usual. You cannot keep doing janitorial work, the station administrator protested. You have diplomatic status now. The floors still need cleaning, Doyen replied reasonably. And I like cleaning. Can I do both? Somehow, that simple logic won the argument. The recreation hours began within a week. The first session included the 3 Churati children and 4 young Talvothi. The Talvothi were a species with 6 limbs. Their children were raised in isolation to protect their developing psychic abilities. The Talvothi children entered the common room with rigid formality. Their movements were precise and controlled. They kept their distance from everyone, exactly as they had been trained. Doyen greeted them with the same casual warmth he had shown the Churati children. Hi, I am Doyen. We're going to play a game. It is called Clean the Windows Without Using Your Hands. The Talvothi children stared at him, confused. We use rags tied to our feet, Velkin explained. He was already strapping cleaning cloths onto his feet. Then we slide across the floor and clean the windows at the same time. That is inefficient, one of the Talvothi children, a girl named Lyra, observed. Sure is, Doyen agreed cheerfully. But it is fun. One try. 15 minutes later, Lyra was laughing as she slid across the polished floor. Her 6 limbs made her movements more chaotic, but somehow more joyful. Her siblings joined her. Their formal training was forgotten in the simple pleasure of play. Watching from the observation area, the Talvothi ambassador turned to Queen Shavara. My daughter is laughing. I have never heard her laugh. Welcome to Human Factor, Shavara replied with something very close to a smile. Each week brought new children. The Prenovi twins were shapeshifters who had been taught to fear their own abilities. They learned to play hide and seek, transforming into different objects while Doyen counted. A young Zenti prince communicated through color changes on his skin. He discovered that Doyen could read his feelings by watching his skin patterns and responding with gentle understanding. Doyen treated each child the same, with patience, respect, and an absolute refusal to treat them as anything other than kids who needed space to be themselves. He taught them games from Earth, simple things like tag, hide and seek, and a version of musical chairs that worked across species. He told stories, not grand myths, but small tales about ordinary people doing ordinary things with love and care. Most importantly, he listened. He was one of the few adults in their lives who asked them questions and actually cared about the answers. What do you think about that? How does that make you feel? What do you want to do? These were revolutionary concepts in the world of diplomatic children. They had spent their lives being told what to think, what to feel, and what to do. The transformation was not instant, but it was profound. Children who had been withdrawn began to talk. Those who had been fearful started to explore. Those who had never had friends found companionship across species lines. And at the center of it all was a middle-aged janitor with a mop, treating the whole thing like the most natural thing in the universe. One day, the diplomatic station was hosting critical peace negotiations between two species. They had been locked in territorial disputes for decades. Tensions were high. Each side brought their best negotiators, their strategic experts, their political masterminds. The talks were going nowhere. Each side presented perfectly logical arguments for their positions. Each side had valid historical claims. Each side had legitimate security concerns. And each side was so focused on winning the negotiation that they had lost sight of the actual goal, peace. During a break in negotiations, Prince Velkan was in the observation gallery with Doyen and several other children. They were practicing a new game involving stacking blocks in cooperative patterns. "Why are the adults so angry?" asked a young pre-novi girl, watching the tense negotiators through the glass. "They have forgotten how to play together," Velkan said thoughtfully. Then he looked at Doyen. "You always say everyone deserves honesty, even when it is uncomfortable." Doyen nodded. "That is right." Velkan made a decision. He walked into the negotiation chamber. The adults stopped talking, shocked that a child had entered their sacred space. "Prince Velkan," one negotiator said nervously, "this is not appropriate." "I know," the young prince replied. His three eyes looked at each negotiator in turn. "But I am a telepath, and I need to tell you the truth." The room went silent. "All the adults in this room are thinking about winning," Velkan said simply. "Not one of you is thinking about what is right. Not one of you is thinking about the people who will suffer if you fail. You are all thinking about yourselves." He paused. "My friend Doyen taught me something. He said the best solutions come when you stop trying to win and start trying to understand. When you care more about others than about being right." One of the negotiators, a grizzled diplomat, looked ashamed. "A child should not have to teach us this lesson." "No," Queen Shavara said, entering behind her son. "But perhaps that is why the lesson is so powerful. Children see truth more clearly than adults who have learned to hide it." The negotiations resumed with a different tone. Representatives focused on finding solutions rather than scoring points. Within days, they reached an agreement that had eluded them for years. On the night before the Chirati delegation prepared to depart, the children asked Doyen what gift they could give him. He asked for nothing, but Teo insisted. "You gave us laughter. What can we give you?" Doyen thought, then asked, "Can you teach me one of your songs? One you would sing together as a family?" They taught him a Chirati lullaby, the same one their mother sang to them as babies. As they sang together, Doyen's eyes filled with tears. It reminded him of singing to his own daughter. Queen Shavara told Doyen, "You gave my children something I could not, the knowledge that the universe can be kind. I will ensure others know what humanity taught us." Doyen returned to his janitorial duties, refusing any promotion. But now, when new delegations arrived with frightened, isolated children, they specifically requested the human janitor. The final image was simple: Doyen humming an Earth song while cleaning, as a new group of alien children peeked around the corner, curious. He noticed them, smiled, and accidentally created a soap bubble that floated their way. A small alien hand reached out to touch it, and the cycle of trust began again. The end.